Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Tonight we find ourselves readying ourselves for another run around Le Mans. This is the historic season. We're looking at an E-Type Jaguar. Whilst never a winner at Le Mans, it did follow a succinct history of winners. The D-Type Jag was certainly more prolific winner at Le Mans. And after the withdrawal of the Jaguar from Le Mans in something like 1956, after a serious incident with Mercedes, these cars carried on quite precipitatively as a privateer type entry. Very popular still on the roads of the UK, with many collectors owning these as a very affordable, historic classic car. Shall we see what it's like for a setup? As you can see there, it's got a rear wing on it, which is likely a modern twist. So we're going to set out with 667.68 pp with 495 horsepower. It's shod with racing mediums, but we might see that change. I don't think there's going to be much chance of us blowing the 700 pp target. Fully customizable suspension, everything default. We're going to run fully customizable rear diff, and of course we're changing that to 555. I've never taken this to the track, so this is going to be a first time, first served. The rear wing we're going to put to 200, but there's no front downforce. Fully customizable ECU, not changed. Fully customizable racing transmission set to 270. As you can see, it's got like an overdrive there in the fifth top. It's going to go all the way. Racing silencer, air cleaner and exhaust manifold. No turbos or superchargers on this one. Racing brake system. We've got every available upgrade on the engine. We've got weight restrictions 1. We could put 2 on 3 if we really wanted to. Not so sure about how light the car's going to be. Increased body rigidity. We've also got racing clutch and flywheel and the carbon prop shaft. Let's take it to the track. Here we are at the World Touring Car 700. It's 30 minutes around Le Mans. Settings for today's race will be assists. Traction control 1, default ABS. ASM on and counter steer assistance on strong. Controller settings, personal to me, are controller steering sensitivity 5, force max torque feedback 5, and force feedback sensitivity 6. Let's get stuck in. Here we go then, folks. We're going to go fuel map 1. We're going to see if we can get 3 laps out of this. Now, it's got no racing brake pads, so we've got to know that the brakes are pretty slummy. Back end's a bit lively. Now we've set ourselves really quite a challenge with these older historic cars. Whilst they are full racing cars, and that's why I didn't want to include them in a road car for race car kind of race, they're full of old technology. So the brakes were poor, the engines weren't quite as efficient in the day. Sure, they are fully up to spec race machines for their time, but they're not particularly measurable or comparable to these GR4 cars, these majorly saloon cars of the modern era. There's so much more technology that's just going into designing the components for these modern cars. And yes, understandably, these modern cars are the actual road course development cars for the road. So the brakes that come out of the sports thing are supposed to be adapted to the road cars, and the things they develop on the track cars actually do end up in your daily driver. So it wasn't so much the case back in the day. So this E-Type Jag, even though it is the sports car of its day, didn't really filter down into the car at the time. It's only the modern recreations that get the historic stuff. So, well, forgive me, we are up to 9th place. Looks like we're only going to get 2 laps. I'm going to drop that to fuel map 4 because I want the 3rd lap. But it all depends on the rain. But we've just given ourselves a bit of a jump down the old start finish, so give ourselves a chance to get somewhere near where we need to be. Might just drop that to 6 actually until we get round to the start finish. We're 9 seconds off the lead. It's looking like a good sunny day. On the racing mediums, I've got a feeling they will do the first 4 laps, but I don't think they'll do it without a little bit of caution. We're also just a little bit concerned about how the weather's going to unfold. Just need to make sure this car's going to do 3 laps and then we can start to look at the weather. We're in 8th place, just some 10 seconds behind the leaders, and on fuel map 6 they're going to be able to really maintain that distance. I think we're going to have to see how we go, but we don't mind. 10 seconds down at the first pit stop isn't going to be so bad. What we're then going to hope to do is, with no rain, or if there is rain, we're going to hope to just reduce or rely on a reduced amount of stopping time. Ah, we got a penalty for just sliding that apex. Wasn't too happy with that. So fuel map, we got 2.3, so it looks like we're going to make it. I'm just going to flick to the weather map. There we go. That Aston's back to 8. He knows we've got half a sinker penalty, so he can catch us at the bottom end of the circuit, I believe, or should be able to. We'll want to. So we are 12.6 seconds behind the leader. We're in 7th place. We are pushing on. No sign of weather on the weather map. We are going to need to check fuel and just make sure that we are on target for 2 more laps. It looks to be greying up marginally. Am I going to get more penalties for that? Crossing the white line. We've got 2 laps of fuel left, so we can potentially go to fuel map 3 without causing any damage. Mr. Healy. Just gaining on the guys at the front again. 12.2 now. Second gear around there really does spin up a little bit, so am I seeing rain in the northwest quadrant? Don't think so. It's not that telltale sign. I just thought there was there. I'm looking for it. Chasing down Mr. Kawakami. We've taken 0.7 seconds out of the leaders. Time is coming down to Mr. Kawakami, but we're going to lose that time with a ½ second penalty, which is a real frustration, but something you have to deal with. Again, we're using these cars because we believe they're going to be capable grinders, and we're going to enjoy our time driving them. Some of these cars you just never look at and think, oh, actually, I'm going to give that a whirl. Still bright and sunny. No sign of any rain as it is. There was the penalty. And we're still closing in. No sign of rain, which everybody's glad about. Rain is quite common at Le Mans, believe it or not. It's one of those things, it normally rains at night when I've watched the racing, which I guess is characteristic of the area it's in. Rain is in. There's rain on the radar there. It's in the northwest quarter, it's in the northeast quarter. It looks like it's going to be pretty ropey. Miss McEwen goes to the pit lane. We're in 6th place now. Mr. Blazan's gone in. We're going to try and sprint one lap. We've got fuel. We've got the fastest lap of the race. We've got a fuel map too. And there's some big green stuff in there. Let's see if we can get around into the pits before it happens. 4:15 fastest lap. Oh, it looks like a big threat of rain coming, doesn't it? See if we can get our toe down and get it back round. Oh, I don't like the look of this. This looks heavy, brother. Have a drink while we think about it. One and a half seconds, and then we're about to slide through that gap in there, but it's going to get wet. We're going to have to be cautious. We are going to have to just manage ourselves through here. We're hoping that a pathway forms through those clouds. It's getting really quite damp. I didn't slow down just that bit more. Second gear back up to third just to make sure we don't spin up. The track's getting really quite wet. Inters are now the priority tyre, and I'm thinking we really need to think about getting in the pits. Spray's coming off the car in front. You can see the wind blowing across the circuit. Needed to back off a little bit just while we're in the braking zone. We caught them up, and we've got front end damage from that. Pretty much an even Stevens race. First to fourth, line astern. Coming along the bottom edge of the circuit to the most southerly point. Well, leaving the most southerly point, really. If we can make a snaky sneak past, then we've just got to be cautious about this corner. I'm sliding already. I've got more damage. I'm just sliding around. I might pick up a penalty there, yeah, for transgressing that line. It was not intentionally, but it happened. We won't spend the penalty this time round, we'll be spending it next time round. But we're going to have to go and put tyres on. It's going to be disappointing that we have to. Just need an indicator that says whether we can pit or not. really easy overtake round the outside. And then we spin it. Just want an easy exit here. There was quite a bit of surface water there. That caught us by surprise, didn't it? Some fishtailing going on down here. I'm not going to attempt to throttle past them. No, don't catch that again. We know they're all going in. They're drifting all over the place, bumping and grinding. We're going in alongside them. We made it in. We're going to put the inters on. And we're going to take all the fuel so that we don't have to stop for fuel when we come back round. Excuse the slurpees. We know we're going to have to stop again because we've got to lose these tyres. We're gambling on inters. We don't need it to rain that much more, but we can't see the rain indicator, so we're on it. We did come into the pits in first place, but for the lead we have, it's not going to be much. It said 16 seconds, but ahead of the next guy, but I don't think that's the case. Tyres come on and off. Off and on, should I say. Then the fuel's going in. We had a fair bit of fuel compared to those around us. We could be in and away before anybody else. No, Mr. Portilla's made it to 99. So not knowing what tyres he took, because it's not showing us that. We can see the end of the rain, I think. Oh, Mr. Portilla, so slow. We've got to go and make that 2-second penalty clearance, because we've got to clear that penalty. It's raining a bit more that we don't want, isn't it? Very much definitely so. Need to clear this rain definitely and get away. Did he keep on his racing tyres? Did he not change? That much I don't know. What we need is for these wet weather to clear. We don't want to be tanking really on the full fuel map. We are pitting though, aren't we? So we just got to be careful. We need to pit for as little time as possible. Just got to manage the brakes. And then it looks like we're into clear skies. Well, cloudy skies, but no rain at least. Oh, I was just going to say, we're just getting clear of the leaders. 23 seconds and we spin it. I thought I'd just managed that fuel map to the right position. Look how that cloud's coming in from the right. Oh my word, it's running us along the edge of that rain bank. We're running parallel to the front, which is, oh, that's not what we wanted. Just some 13 seconds ahead. Need to make some of the most of this. Yay. Don't do that to me, you beast. So my brother-in-law owns an E-Type. I've never had the pleasure of being able to jump in it with him and go for a spin, but I'm very jealous when I do see it. It's a lovely car. It's one of those cars, if you wanted one, if you're the generation older, if you're the generation older, it would have been one of the cars you would see in the late 50s, early 60s, running at Le Mans. So you'd have to be in your 65s, late 60s now, and you'd have a vision of one of these cars sat on your driveway, just like we do nowadays with with other cars, more of our generation, but they are engineering marvel, really. If you think back to just the late 50s, mid 50s, early 60s, about the technology that was evolving and generating at the time. So we're 5 seconds ahead of Mrs. McEwen, and we've got a 2-second penalty to expend. We're on the right tyre for the condition, so let's just slow down perfectly. I believe we're gonna have to pit stop. We don't have much choice in the matter. I don't think a set of inters will go all the way to the end. It says 2.7. If we could potentially stretch that, there's a chance, isn't there? Got it down to 3.2, so she is catching. Don't know what's going on with those clouds. There's no real rain in there, but it's just cloud cover, which will keep the track wet, one would suggest. It'll stop it evaporating off. We know the track will dry out. Tyres aren't showing any wear yet. Fuel is 2.6. Need to try and find 0.4 of a lap of fuel if we're going to make it with the one stop running into us all the way to the end. That's going to be a challenge. Dry line kind of forming, I think I can see one. Don't really want a dry line, do we? We're following that band of rain clouds, and they're definitely rain clouds. There's rain in it. Five 0.6 seconds in the lead. Short shift away through the acceleration pattern. As soon as we see it come on, there we go, back to 5,000 RPM, 6.5 seconds. Just starting to eat into it. .5 laps fuel. Is this one of those where we'll have to think about hitting and running for it? Could be very close. Dry lap's definitely formed. Look at the rain gauge depth there. It's down to the first level. We're still on the primary tyre, but it's not looking the best. And I don't think we're going to be asking this car to actually make massive inroads. We've got to do another 2.5 laps on these tyres. I think that's a big ask. So I think we're going to turn the juice up now and get into the pit stop and take a set of softs. Rather than doing a 1-lap dash at the end. I think so. I think we've got to make that run for it now. I think we've got to bank on the track drying up and being in a position in half a lap's time to make a sprint for it. We'll probably lose first place early, but they're going to have to pit again unless the tyres and fuel, they're the combination, aren't they? I think they're going to have to pit again. I think they've been presenting the same problem as we have. I say we, I'm talking about the collective we, all of us. We're all in this together in my eyes. Track's definitely drying up. We're just managing what we've got. That's all I see. These tyres will fall away so quickly as this track dries up. Just hoping there's no more rain coming. I think we had to put those wets on. We couldn't have done it without. Right, let's go and put those race tyres on. The question is whether Miss McEwen is going to follow us. We're going to put the softs on, do 2 laps. We're going to take 2.5 laps of fuel. She came in. I'm going to take 3 laps of fuel. I'm going to take the lot and run fuel map 1. Mr. Blazan came in, everybody's taking their wets off. And then it is going to be a race to the end. It's going to be tight. We'll have to be cautious coming out of the pits. Those very old technology treaded tyres. We've got the fuel. McEwen came out on 74%. Gotta be easy here. It will spin up. So the race is on then. I don't think we're going to get any more rain. Just got to be so careful on the damp patches. It's the fuel we've got to watch and manage for. We've got 2 laps to do. But the fuel gauge has been running on fuel map 6, so it might be over calculating the fuel requirements. We just have to be careful. We've got McEwen well in sight. Oh no! There's that wet patch that we have to be worried about. Haywood's gone on 23 seconds behind. This is not good fun. We've got damage, rear, right front wheel, front of the car. So it's pulling to the left hand side as we go down the straight. You see I'm having to counter the steering to the right. That means, here we go, it's come back. Got to keep to the dry patches. We've got some time to make up. That's not what we wanted, especially when we're running a tight schedule. We've just got this one on lap 7. We've got to do some catching. I'm not sure we're going to be there. We've got the fastest lap of the race, but we had it in our grasps. We just threw it away. I think Mr. Haywood's got to pit, so I think we might have the opportunity. Looking at the speed though, we haven't got that much overspeed on these cars. Don't push me. Nine seconds we lost to McEwen. We need to make that back up. Desperate stakes. This will be the closest we've come to a loss in all the videos we've done. Nice and steady. Caution, caution at all times. I wish we'd said that half a lap ago. I know we're on the softs, we're gonna have the grip when we're on the dry bits. We were teetering along there, weren't we? So the sections of track we're on are intermittently damp. Why is there so much traffic in front of us? Oh no, that's just the 3 cars, that's good. 2 cars ahead of us, sorry. We're expecting Mr. Hayward to pit. McEwen went in. McEwen stayed in. He's kept the same tyres. That I didn't expect. Blazan kept on the inters as well. I don't understand. Well, that's fortunate. They went into the pits, but the team gave them back their intermediate tyres. Wowzers. That's given us a 15-second lead. We just can't fault. We've only got 25 seconds left of the clock time, so a lot of the other cars won't make it past, and some of those in the pits might time out. Some of them may well just time out, knowing that they haven't taken their fuel yet whilst they're in the pits. That's the end of the race officially at that point. We've got a 21-second lead. We've got to do everything we can to hold this on the circuit. The rear tyres look like they could do with a shower. They are looking a little bit hot to trot. Fastest lap potential of the race, keeping on going. So what do we think? Well, it's an old donkey, isn't it? It's a dinosaur. It's got the power. The rain really messes with it. Like with any car, this is so underpowered compared to those other GR4 cars that it is a tough race. But what do we think it's going to do in the final race, the custom race? I don't think it's got a chance to win, although on fuel map 1 it can do 3 laps almost, so I think it's got a chance of being a competitor. It's very drivable. The rear diff mix just makes it that, really. Oh, that was a lockup. That was a drop to first gear. That was actually a driver's error. There's no real drama there. 7th place is now completed. They have finished. 7th of down have all run into the pit stop, and they will no longer continue. We do have a lead now, 25 seconds over the pack, it says. I don't think it's going to be that. I think it's going to be less. It's just changed to 20. Let's just be cautious at the end here. Those rear tyres have took a pounding. Fuel is absolutely fine. 1.2 laps. We probably took too much. We were being safe. We've got no danger of beating that fastest lap, but a 4:15 is pretty slow compared to what we've driven in the past. But historics wise, it does what it does. It's going to do what it do. It's going to win. And then we'll see 3 or 4 of these in the final custom race, I would think. There'll be a smattering of them. Something we'll have to overtake. And there it is. Nothing to scream and shout about, but plenty to go out and take it. It wouldn't make a regular grinder for me. I think it's too underpowered and it's not easy. It takes best part of what, 33 minutes. So you're talking, it wouldn't be an effective grinder, but it still won the race and it's worth a shout. It did a lap on everybody purely because of where the rain was, but it got the fastest lap as well at 4:15.079. No complaints. No complaints. It wins. It gets you the clean race bonus. It's money in the bank. And happy days. Well, it's up to you, folks. It's up to you what you do. I think it's an absolute stunner. And thank you to the gentleman who put the skin in the showcase. I don't know who you are, but I downloaded what looked like an effective sort of representative skin. British Racing Green for Jaguar as always. But thank you very much, folks. We'll see you on the next one. All the best. Take care. Trying to make sure we can make this corner. The front end's just slid through. Not turning at all. Now we're going backwards. Come on. We lost out to Mr. Hayward there. Couldn't find a gear. Now we can't get it to go in a straight line. Just unlucky, isn't it? Mr. Hayward's stationary on the apex with 8.5 second penalties. Get out of here.